Welcome to Gen X Unfiltered, where three Gen Xers dig through the emotional junk drawer of life
and turn it into an unhinged group chat about everything from pop culture and personal growth to the stuff we never really unpacked.
If you've ever been told to toughen up but now cry during commercials, you're our people.
Welcome back to Gen X Unfiltered, the podcast where we dig into the pop culture stories that shaped us, shook us, and sometimes broke our hearts. Today we're diving into a documentary that hit us hard, The Carters, It Hurts to Love You, the story of Nick and Aaron Carter and the family behind the fame.
We knew them as the pop princes of the late 90s, Nick from the Backstreet Boys and Aaron the teen star with bubblegum hits and bleached blonde charm. But what we didn't see was the pain behind the music, the fractured family dynamic, and the series of devastating losses that haunted them both.
This documentary gives us the behind-the-scenes look, the addiction, mental illness, sibling estrangement, and deep family trauma, but also shows love, flawed, complicated love, and the kind of grief that lingers long after the spotlight fades.
Hi, guys.
Hello.
Hey.
That was the intro to our podcast.
Yeah, that was a tongue twister, but
That was a deep dive right there.
Yeah.
Right off the top.
As the intro states, we watched the Carters, It Hurts to Love You documentary on, I don't know what it was on.
that was on Paramount Plus,
Paramount
I believe.
Plus.
Yes.
I actually thought it was a documentary. Okay, like it is a documentary about the Carter family, but it was definitely more of like an Aaron Carter, I would kind of say, documentary.
Yeah,
He was the central Carter they focused on
Yeah.
in that documentary.
So we have like some notes here to kind of like give synopsises of little bits. We watched it. I mean, I knew a lot about Nick and Aaron Carter already because I grew up with Backstreet Boys and, you know, just girl boy band stuff. I mean, obviously, I mean, we all heard about obviously Aaron's death and all the sadness around that. But watching that documentary, I think like I can only speak for myself, but I didn't realize kind of how messed up it was.
I obviously knew about obviously Aaron Carter passed away a couple years ago, but had no idea
Just
sort of the
sad.
whole backstory. That's just a sad story of a sad family.
And it's kind of just like the same thing that you see, like, you know, these young kids who become pop stars. And then when they get into adulthood, like, you know, some of them continue to be successful and like fine. But the ones that don't, like, you just go back and see how, you know, you just could see it happening based on how they grew up and stuff.
You realize how important it is to have good people in your life. And none of those kids had that with the parents they had.
Okay.
No, they didn't have a strong foundation.
So we'll start off by saying that this documentary was, I would say, 98% sort of narrated by the only remaining sister, who happens to be Aaron Carter's twin, Angel Carter. So she kind of was the main interviewee.
Yeah. It was sort of her telling the story of the Carter family.
I thought Nick was kind of going to be in it a little bit, but I mean, he wasn't officially interviewed. It was kind of like there was some parts where she went to visit him and she recorded him telling a story on her cell phone.
Yeah.
It wasn't like an official, like, sit down production interview type thing.
Yeah, it was sort of strange because I think it was the director holding the phone. There was there was somebody else was there, so it was weird, but it was not like they didn't have camera crews and all this. It was just
it was
on a cell phone.
informal. Yeah, it was more of an informal, like, hey, I'm here to meet you. Do you want to talk about this? And I was like, okay. Where she was like obviously being asked questions to tell the story. No, she was sitting somewhere like we are now, like with cameras and lights. And it was directed by Soleil Moonfry. I didn't realize that, Punky Brewster. Which is actually interesting because, I mean, you know, she grew up as a pop or a teen star. Yeah. So she kind of, you know, I feel like had sort of like an inside.
Probably could relate to a lot of what they're going through. Yeah.
She's been involved in a couple of these like documentaries.
Well, I was going to say we watched that Kid 90 that she directed because she was like, it was kind of crazy in that one because she had a camcorder growing up and recorded like everything. All this stuff.
Yeah. From her her generation of young actors growing up.
Yeah. So like from the mid 80s through to the late 90s, really. It was really interesting. That was a good one. Yeah.
All right, so I'm just going to give a little brief synopsis. Just sort of everybody who's listening can kind of get the people and if you don't know all the details of the family and stuff like that. Yeah, there's quite
a few. I didn't realize there was so many. Was there 5 siblings?
Because it's actually like they're all very important to the overall story. I mean, they all had their demons, they all had their struggles, and I think it all just kind of tells the story. But The Carters, It Hurts to Love You follows the rise and tragic unraveling of pop stars Nick and Aaron Carter. It chronicles their complicated relationship, the weight of early fame, and the personal demons that consume the family, ultimately leading to multiple heartbreaking losses. So like we said, think that's misleading saying it shows the, unraveling of Nick. Because again, he was not the central focus of this. It was definitely Aaron Carter's life and rise to fame and the ending of his life.
Yeah.
And just how these people were in that. Aaron Carter was born December 7th, 1987, passed away on November 5th, 2022 at age 34. He died from drowning in his bathtub with alprazolam and another word that I don't know how to pronounce found in his system. His death shook fans, but especially Nick, who had been estranged from Aaron in recent years, which we'll talk about, but that's sort of the broad overview. The documentary also touches on the broader Carter family, and the story is definitely steeped in tragedy. So really quick of the family tree. Jane Carter was the mom. She was a family manager, central figure in several legal and financial disputes with her children. She is still living. And the only reason why I'm adding she's still living is because, unfortunately, a lot of these people are no longer. So just so everybody kind of has the family tree. Robert Carter was the father, born September 23rd, 1952. He died in May 16, 2017 of an apparent heart attack. So he's no longer with us. Nick Carter, born January 28th, 1980, surviving member best known for his role of Backstreet Boys. Aaron Carter, born December 7th, 1987, died November 5th, 2022. Leslie Carter, born June 6th, 1986, died January 31st, 2012 at the age of 25 of an overdose. Like, it's so sad.
I know.
Bobby Jean Carter, born January 12th, 1982, died December 23rd, 2023 at age 41. Cause of death has not been publicly confirmed, but I think it's sort of alleged and assumed that it was a drug-related overdose as well.
Yeah.
Or it was self-inflicted death.
Yeah.
It was not a natural death, I don't think. Then Angel Carter, twin of Aaron, born December 7th, 1987, still living, estranged from Aaron at times, but later reconciled before his death. So out of all those people we listed, the only people that are still remaining is Nick Carter, Angel Carter, Aaron's twin, and the mom.
Yeah.
Out of a family of 7.
That's so sad.
Yeah, all the siblings and stuff like that, they
Crazy.
all passed away. Yeah.
Crazy. The documentary started obviously way back in sort of the beginning of, whatever. And it was sort of the typical story of two parents, they had a lot of kids, they struggled with money. Nick obviously became sort of famous. So here, Nick is a good 7 years older than Aaron. So he was, by the time Aaron was 7, Nick was 14 and already kind of starting with the Backstreet
in that
Boys.
role of the Backstreet Boys, yeah.
But Robert and Jane Carter's marriage was volatile. They divorced in 2003 after years of tension, including rumors of infidelity and financial disputes. The divorce was bitter and deeply impacted the kids, especially Angel and Aaron, who were 16 at the time. And that was a big part of the story that Angel talked about because of, sort of they had to choose sides and it was just, ugh. After the split, Jane kept managing the children's careers, even as trust within the family continued to erode. Robert remarried, and many of the kids became estranged from him over time. Aaron, though, stayed closer to his dad and blamed Jane for much of the dysfunction. So they talked a lot about how very early on, and they talked about it sort of throughout the thing, but obviously the parents divorced. The older kids were obviously older, but Angel, the one who's talking in the documentary, she talks about how at 16, Aaron Carter was already a superstar, right?
Well,
he was already...
Yeah, by that point he was at the...
peak of his...
I don't know if he was already on the done.
Right, but I mean, he was still successful. He still was not... He hadn't hit his sort of downfall from grace.
No, yeah.
But I think it said... Did the kids... I can't remember, but did she live with the mom and he lived with the dad?
Yeah, they had a pick.
They did pick.
They did
right?
pick.
There's a
when
whole
the,
scene
when the
where
parents
they talk about
separated,
that.
the judge asked each one of them who they wanted to stay with.
Because Angel picked her father.
Yeah, that's right. And she thought Aaron would do the same. And
right.
he
Because
didn't.
Angel said that her thought was they were both dysfunctional as crap, but the dad was the least dysfunctional one.
Yeah.
They definitely alluded to the fact, and I don't know if but the mom there was obviously addiction issues on both sides, but I think the mom also had some severe mental health issues on top of it. So she felt her dad was
the more suitable caregiver.
More safe.
Almost, I hate to say it, but the lesser of two evils.
Yeah, well, I mean, she said that. I'm pretty sure
she
in
said
so many words.
Neither one of them was great, but my dad just had some of the addiction issues that she could
But
deal
also,
with, I guess. But it was the mental health issue of the mom that made her very
but
unstable.
also she
Yeah.
talked about how the dad remarried, and she really, 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 really liked and got along well with the dad's second wife.
That's right, because
Yeah.
she was in this documentary too, and you could see
Yeah.
the difference that she was. Because even she would talk about the relationship between her husband and his ex-wife, and how
Yeah.
Well,
she
there's
knew that it was like
we'll get
not
into
good.
Yeah.
further stuff about that after.
Yeah.
That really surprised me because usually when they talk about step mothers or step parents,
That-
it's,
yeah.
it's a horror story.
Well, and that's where I thought it was going at first
Yeah.
when they said, "Oh, this," and because she was obviously like quite a bit younger.
Yeah.
So it was like, "Oh, okay, I kind of know how this story goes." It's like, "Oh no, wait, this is actually the total opposite." Where
Exactly.
because she had her own daughter too and stuff, and like,
Mm-hmm.
so she was actually like a really good influence on like
Well, and
most of them who would want to be around or
Well,
whatever.
and because at this time, so like say 16, but even a couple of years earlier, Angel talks about how, when Aaron got famous and was going out on the road and the parents were dealing with that, like she was just literally left. I think she's at 13. She was just literally left at home by herself because all her siblings were older. He was gone and she was just left at home. So obviously there was like abandonment issues. And I guess being with like the dad and this stepmom, she probably felt
Well,
like
and she was the one too, wasn't she? The one that she went on the tour bus with them and like was assaulted. by
Assaulted.
one of the like someone working on the crew or something like that. And she told her parents about it, and they were basically like blew her off and told her
Yeah.
she was full of it.
yeah.
I mean, it was very obvious from early on that if it wasn't obvious before, she very much didn't keep it a secret that, like, Aaron was sort of the cash cow. I mean, Nick was, but the problem was Nick became really popular when he was almost 18. So
That-
when he was 18, he was still like, but it was his money.
He had control of his own estate.
That was
Whereas-
Aaron was like 10 years
years
old when he became really famous, and
Yeah.
yeah.
his
So
parents managed his money. And
Well,
No,
yeah, we'll
yeah,
get
well,
to that.
yeah.
But so he was the cash cow, and like she's like, we all knew that. He probably knew that. Like it was just a thing.
yeah, as a kid, you assume that your parents are doing what's best for you, and you're not.
You like to think that.
A 10-year-old kid's not going to be like, "Hey, I want to see my accountants," and like,
Yeah, where's my money going?
yeah, like they're not. The parents just tell you, "Oh, okay, my mom said it's going here. We're doing this. Oh, okay,
Yeah, exactly.
That's just what we do."
Yeah.
So-
they bought Aaron something nice. Okay, it's fine. I'm not worried
Yeah.
about it.
Here's a quick little timeline. So like Nick joins the Backstreet Boys at age 13 in 1993. Aaron's debut album comes out in 1997 and opens for the Backstreet Boys. So, okay, I think it's important to also talk about in those early years, Aaron idolized Nick. Obviously, he's an older brother.
Oh,
He's
God,
doing what
yeah.
Aaron wants to
Yeah,
do.
yeah.
And Nick idolized him. And it sounded like, Nick was obviously not around a lot. He was in this big boy band that was taking over the world. So he
Yeah.
wasn't there. But, definitely he would call Aaron. He would be there when he could. Aaron opened up for the Backstreet Boys and went on tour together.
Nick tried to do what he could to help him, and I'm sure what Nick did helped Aaron
Well,
immensely in
of
terms of
course.
success and stuff like that. Yeah.
Let's be real. Like, I mean, Aaron Carter, when he was young and came out with that song Candy and was like a 9-year-old kid, I mean, it was like cute and whatever, but
Yeah.
like he wouldn't, I mean, I'm not trying to say anything bad about his talent, but he wouldn't have had the exposure at 8 years old that he had if
No.
Nick wasn't his brother.
Yeah, exactly.
No, that definitely was a huge, because a lot of the girls are like the New Kids, the Backstreet Boys
Yeah.
were somewhere 15, 16, 17, but they had like the
Younger
9, 10-year-olds,
siblings, yeah.
younger siblings. So
Yeah.
Aaron was like the perfect fit for that group and,
And
younger.
that's not a knock on any talent he had. It's just fact. He just wouldn't have had
No,
the
I mean, there's
exposure.
lots of. It's like anything they always say. There's lots of talented singers that never
Yeah.
get anywhere.
And
But
that's-
so he had that platform to
Yeah.
lean into.
It's a double-edged sword, though, right?
Yeah.
Because he said he was trying to get out of the shadow from Aaron or Nick.
That was the problem.
the
'Cause They
Backstreet
looked a
Boys.
lot like he looked like a younger version of his brother, right? Blonde hair and all this stuff. So it was like he's the 10-year younger version of.
Exactly. And in interviews, he's always introduced as like Nick Carter's little brother.
Yeah, here's my little brother. This is Nick's little brother. Your
Yeah.
brother's
But
in the Backstreet Boys.
It's,
Yeah.
it's kind of, I understand that feeling because we who have siblings have always felt that to some degree, whether like, no, obviously not on that level, but like on some degree. But at the same time, it's like, I don't know. I don't know how to say this without sounding like hard or whatever. And I'm not, but I'm just like, at the same time, you kind of became successful because of your brother. He helped you. So I'm not saying that you're not talented on your own, but you can't ever try and be like, I want to be separate from that since that's how you sort of started
well, it's
your
a
career.
double-edged sword. Is that
You know what I
want to?
mean?
Well, I mean, I get using it to help you out, but at some point, yeah, I can totally see where. But he's like, I'm not.
I get
my
it.
brother. I want to.
But that's also what helped make who he was. It's like the people that were like Jennifer Aniston on Friends.
Yeah.
Well, I don't want to be Rachel forever, but Rachel is what put you on the map and gave you a name to go and be able and have opportunities to do other things. So it's this weird thing. I understand.
I know, I get it too, but it's almost like but we've seen it before. You see people like on YouTube who do that, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like get famous for doing whatever type of video on YouTube, and eventually it's like, I want to do something different. Mm-hmm. And it's like, you can't, because that's not who you are. You're this person on YouTube. It's like, but I don't want to be that person anymore. And it's that, and it's hard.
But I think that's okay. And definitely it's hard. I think it's okay, but you just have to be able to understand that it may just not be the same.
No, exactly. But it's hard. But it's just after some point, you want to get out and be your own thing, do something different. So I get where Aaron's coming from.
I totally do.
After the thousands question of being like, how's your brother? He's like, he's fine.
I get it.
I don't want to talk about my brother. I want to talk about me and my new album.
Oh, exactly. And like the weird part is like the mom and her mental health issues. She'd use that to drive a wedge between the brothers.
That's what
We're gonna get there.
Yeah.
Oh, are we?
Yeah.
Okay.
Eric's always jumping the gun.
Sorry.
No, I'm just kidding. But just really quickly, there was I just want to make sure I have my timeline right. I don't want to mess it up. Okay, well, we can transition right into what Eric was saying because it's before this next one.
Look at me.
But one of the biggest things was, and like Angel talked about this a lot, and obviously was very clear. I mean, again, the mom, I don't think like hid many of her motives. I mean, I think it was pretty obvious to everybody.
It seemed like they all knew who was.
But because Nick was, again, had no say in Nick's money, it was all his. Like he wasn't. I'm sure he was helping, but he wasn't paying the mortgage like Aaron Carter was.
Well, not that, but they didn't have his bank account just to draw out of
well, that's what I
any
mean.
access.
Well, that's what I mean, paying the mortgage. And so she used to, even in interviews they showed of Aaron, like she literally would be like, oh, your brother didn't call you because he doesn't love you anymore.
Yeah, exactly. This is like,
to like a young kid.
Yeah. How messed up is that?
Yeah, it's psycho.
Totally psycho.
Well, I think though, because I think Nick was asking some questions about.
Well, Nick was starting to poke around and be like, what's
how you doing? How you feeling? How is the business going? And I think Nick was sort of getting into those areas where the mom knew, hey, this is my money.
Yeah,
because Nick probably got wise because they had a situation with Lou Pearlman, right?
Yeah, and that too. Yeah,
where there's money problems, right? So Nick probably had experience with bad management. And it was like, I'm going to look out for my little brother because I had my own experience with bad management. Let's make sure he's taken care of.
Well, and he knows that his parents were not reliable. His parents
that's what I'm saying. So I think Nick knew what was
going on.
Maybe not knew, but
Inklings.
Was worried that something might be going on.
So that definitely, I mean, let's be real. Like you don't even, have had to experience that to, logically understand that is going to mess a kid up for later in life.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
And I think that comes out later when Aaron's an adult and him and Nick have their ups and downs. I mean, that's definitely where it stems from because he was just told at such a young age that your brother's jealous of you. He doesn't like you. He wants you to fail. He wants this.
You're more talented than him. All that stuff.
And because Nick was so busy and gone, obviously there was lots of points of time where he wasn't having contact with them.
Well, he's on the road how many days a year doing shows all over the world. It's hard to just drop out and come home for a weekend. Unfortunately, that's just the life of being a performer.
The dad we've talked about was not a stable parent by any means, but definitely the mom was more probably outwardly damaging to the kids.
Yeah.
We haven't, they did, Angel was talking about interspersingly to these little stories. She was talking about her other siblings and the one, Leslie, I think she's the one that died in 2012. She was just, she was just a drug addict for as long as Angel can remember.
Yeah.
As an early teenager, she was just always in her room with the door shut and nobody cared. That's basically it. Nobody cared.
Well, those siblings have in a really weird spot when you have your oldest brother is in the Backstreet Boys, so he's super famous, making a ton of them. Then your youngest brother is doing the same path, and these other kids are just kind of
forgotten.
Yeah.
They're not
earning money for anybody, so it's like, well, you guys just stay at home and just.
And it's all the girls too, right?
So they're dealing with all that stuff.
The two older sisters, her nickname's BJ, but BJ and Leslie were definitely just kind of floating around doing their thing, partying, and
Yeah. It's just like I said, this whole thing was just really, really just a sad, sad story.
Yeah.
But Jane's role in the family downfall is controversial. She's been accused of mismanaging her children's money, especially Aaron's, and being emotionally abusive. She's also had legal trouble, including a 2017 arrest for battery after allegedly choking a female friend during a heated argument. Well, there's more to that story. It wasn't just a female friend. She assaulted the stepmom.
Yeah,
she went to their
broke into
house,
the house, yeah.
climbed over a gate, ran and walked in the house, and assaulted the stepmom. Was it in front of the kid?
Yeah, they were there too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And she was worried, exactly, like the stepmom's kid was in the house, right? And what kind of a person does that? Jumps over someone's fence.
Yeah.
Because she was going there with the intent to get her husband back.
Yeah, she wanted her husband back.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Just crazy.
Just clear
Like, do you think it's going to work?
No, exactly. And clearly, this lady had some serious mental health issues.
Yeah.
That I don't know if they ever got them diagnosed or not, but yeah.
Well, I mean, not to diagnose because I'm not a psychotherapist, but I mean, in just the few little interviews and video footage they have of them, the mom's a raging narcissist.
Oh, yeah.
Just extreme, self-importance and
Yeah,
narcissistic. But in her interviews, Jane has admitted she made mistakes, but insists she tried to protect her children. By the late 2010s, most of the Carter siblings had cut ties with her, including Aaron, despite their occasional reconciliations. I mean, that tells you everything.
Yeah.
When every single one of your children cut ties with you, it's not a them problem, that's a you problem.
Yeah,
Oh, yeah.
yeah.
All fingers
yeah.
are pointing in the same direction.
Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly.
There was, so they don't specifically mention, oh no, they do. So another really sad part of the story, which is just all too common in these situations when you're talking about children stars who make a lot of money. I mean, surprise, he turned 18 and there was nothing left.
Yeah.
He owed
So despite earning millions as a child star, Aaron faced significant financial struggles throughout his life. At the height of his fame, he reportedly made over $200 million. That can't be right. That is not right.
That's,
I feel like it's $20 million.
Yeah, that's a little high.
That's not $200 million. 'Cause I don't even think the Backstreet Boys made $200
I remember the documentary, they threw a number $2.5 million out, and he had like $500K left or something.
because he owed $2 million in back taxes.
Well,
Yeah.
no, hold on. So they were talking about. Let me just finish the sentence.
Okay.
But much of that money, it wasn't $200 million.
No, that's
No.
But much of that money was mismanaged or lost due to legal battles and personal issues. When Aaron turned 18, he discovered that his parents had spent most of his earnings without his permission, including buying multiple homes and vehicles. He also revealed that they pressured him into signing a $256,000 check under duress, which caused him permanent hearing loss in one ear. Okay, not really sure what that makes sense, but okay. In 2013, Aaron filed for bankruptcy, revealing debts exceeding $2 million, including a large tax bill. Despite later attempts to rebuild his finances through ventures like a celebrity boxing match and launching an OnlyFans account, Aaron's financial situation remained unstable, and at the time of his death, his estate was worth only a fraction of his earnings. So when, like Eric said, they were talking about when he turned 18, so he made millions. Let's just say that number was 20 million, because I believe it could have been 20 million. I mean, from 8 to 18,
right, yeah.
10 years of he probably made a lot of money. He was very popular.
Well, they were buying lots of stuff.
Say
Yeah, there was lots of money there.
Say it was 20 million. By the time he turned 18, there was 2.5 million. But when he turned 18, he also found out that his parents didn't pay any of his taxes, and he owed $2 million of taxes.
Yeah.
So at 18, he had
$500K
approximately
left
$500,000
of his
left.
multi-millions.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's going to fuck you up.
Well, the people that you love and are supposed to look after you have ripped you off and stolen from you blind. Yeah.
And as you're becoming a later teenager, realizing I'm making, because at 8, you don't know, but at 15, 16, 17, you're making money. And to be I'm going to get
well, and again,
500,000.
The problem with this too, again, not to be an asshole, but this is the Aaron Carter career has hit its pinnacle, and he's now
It's on the downside.
he's not the selling out arenas and stuff
No.
anymore
Yeah.
now. So it's this money is now, this is all he's got now left from that.
Yeah.
They're
They're trying to manage for the rest of his life.
Yeah.
That's going to screw you up.
No, it's you should have this. He should have never had to worry about money any day in his life ever again.
No, not at all.
Not he worried about having the IRS show up and all this stuff. Yeah.
Yeah.
His parents completely
Okay.
screwed him over.
Before we talk about that more, we're going to take a quick break to change the camera. Be
All
right back.
Let's do it.
We're back. But we were talking about his money and the lack thereof. There was a lot of stories that were told, or not a lot, but a few specific stories that were told about the dad writing checks and just they would, Angel talked about how they had like boats and like
Yeah,
cars. And at some point in time, they had moved to California. They bought a house in California.
Yeah, they bought like a
They talked
mansion in
about
like
that.
Calabasas or something or other.
Yeah,
Yeah,
and
But
then
that had a plane.
yeah, like
All this stuff.
yeah.
that clearly wasn't, you know.
Well, it's like, how are my parents buying all this stuff?
Yeah.
When I'm the one that's making all the money.
But
Yeah.
I mean, like as a kid, like I said, I'd probably give it up until about maybe like age 14, maybe 15, before you start kind of being like, hey, where's all my, you realize
Yeah,
you're making
yeah,
money, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Just really sad. Like, all the vacations they went on without him and stuff with his money
Yeah.
to,
Yeah.
to fund those vacations. Like,
Yeah, well,
And
that was
then-
one of the big ones that he was really wanted to go on vacation.
yeah.
The parents were like, well, we'll do one more 2-week stint and then we'll go on vacation as a family. And then
Yeah.
they went on vacation without him. He found out afterwards that
Yeah.
they
Like-
found a vacation without him. He was like
well-
devastated.
Oh, yeah. They forced him to go on tour longer.
Yeah. To make
It's
more
just-
money to keep them funded.
Yeah.
So freaking sad. And I said the only reason why this didn't happen to Nick was because he didn't get famous till he was older.
Yeah. I think he was just old enough that, and so the parents were like, wait, Aaron likes to sing too. Let's
Yeah.
get him. And then, they realize, hey, we can,
Yeah.
this gravy train. And it's sad because it's not the first time you've heard about, like, Corey Feldman was like that. I
No.
think Macaulay Culkin was sort of like that.
Yeah.
Gary Coleman.
For the cash
Yeah,
cows.
and
Yeah.
it's a weird dynamic in a family where all of a sudden the child who's supposed to be, the parents, but all of a sudden becomes the breadwinner of a family. Like it's a weird.
It's a role reversal.
and that's as soon as you have like parents being like the managers and stuff, it's like, oh, this just seems like a
Recipe for disaster.
yeah. Be there as a manager, absolutely, making sure your kid's safe. So leave
Yeah.
the finances and stuff to
Yeah.
professionals.
Yeah, exactly. It's just sad when the parents aren't there in like a protective capacity.
No, and that's the problem because not all parents are great.
Yeah.
They're they're people and they have their
Yeah.
flaws and their issues.
There's enough
and,
creepos in like the in show business.
Yeah.
The parents should be there like to protect their kids.
Yeah, exactly. Be there to make sure that Aaron's getting the rest he needs and the
Yeah.
protection
And
he needs and all this stuff.
I think
Not
I'm going to be very, very judgmental because obviously I don't know these people. I just watch a documentary and I read things about it.
yeah,
But I think that there is a special place somewhere for
yeah,
quote unquote parents. And the dad was a dick too, but the mom
Yeah.
did the emotional shit to him, like the pitting him and his brother, who he worshipped,
yeah.
against each other, like sending the kid out, like, because let's be real, like the dynamic that it looked like she was the one that called the shots. The dad was just enjoying the benefits of it.
Yeah.
And like just the sheer, like, you're not a mom. I'm sorry. You're not a mother to that kid.
No, no.
It's awful. And mental illness or not, or whatever the case may be, I get it. Like, but like, yeah, that's just awful. Like, you screwed that kid up.
Well, that's the thing. It's like the
It took
money
it into
aside
his
of the money.
childhood,
It's
his
all
adulthood.
the money is one thing, but the emotional damage she inflicted on this poor kid, like
Brutal.
that's that's what did it to him. That's what
Yeah, he
ruined
never,
him.
ever recovered from it.
No,
Ever.
because then you don't know who to trust.
No.
You're all like, it just your whole
Even
Of course, you end up a paranoid mess.
yeah,
even
no,
as
exactly.
an
Yeah.
adult, though, like, even though, once he became an adult and he kind of talked to, like, him and his brother were off again, on again, off again, on. Because, again,
Yeah.
he was told from a young kid that his brother was out to get him. So, yeah, you're going to have trust issues.
Yeah, yeah.
Nick could say everything in the world, but he's thinking about when he was 10 years old and his mom said that he
Yeah.
didn't love him. And that messes you up. And that permanently damaged that relationship and never, like you're right, just never allowed him to trust even his twin sister, Angel. Like they
Yeah.
were in and out. At one point in time, he was living with them. He was in their wedding. He was
Yeah,
there, but then
yeah.
they fell out. And like,
Well,
it
because
was
unfortunately,
just-
then Aaron, but he had his own
Yeah.
issues on top of this, then with his addiction issues and stuff like that, which is a whole other ball of wax. But throw that on top of all of this stuff, and it's just,
yeah. So this sort of started the like public sort of, it's almost like there's this whole thing going around with like Justin Bieber now too, like the Britney
no, and
Spears
that's the
and
thing. You
Justin
see,
Bieber,
like they're doing these live streams that are like just erratic and
because they're not
yeah,
healthy.
not nonsensical.
yeah,
Yeah.
and it just makes you wonder, like,
They're
what is
not
going-
healthy.
It doesn't seem
Yeah.
like it.
They've
Yeah.
been so screwed up. When you become an icon and like the worship of the world and like the breadwinner of a family at like before you're a teenager, like that will mess you up.
Oh yeah, well, I've heard somewhere, and I remember you and I talking about somewhere like, yeah, I've heard that like they get stuck at that 12-year-old level, like
Developmentally.
Of
yeah,
course.
they never progress past being 12.
Why
like
would
Michael
they?
Jackson, I heard was the same way. Like the
Yeah.
whole, it's just psychologically whatever mentally, but you just never
because they
you
never
get
had
stuck at that
because
age.
they never
Yeah.
had a regular teenagehood. They never went out on a regular first date.
Yeah,
They
all
never
that's-
went to a prom.
No,
They
all
never
the normal stuff that we went through,
Yeah.
they never did it.
They're just emotionally
They
stunted.
went from being a 12-year-old kid to full-time successful employee, basically.
Yeah.
They skipped everything else, and so they kind of get like stuck in this weird, like they just never grow up.
So Aaron's mental health was obviously a big thing. I mean, there was also a drastic change in his appearance. I mean, yes, I get it. He's not going to look like he did when he was 10 years old. But I mean, he like head to toe tattoos, like tattoos
Face
on his
tattoos and
face.
stuff,
Like
yeah.
he just definitely was trying to not be who he was, clearly, because they were
Yeah,
just very
yeah.
manic. They weren't like, they were just manic looking. They just didn't make sense. They were just everywhere. Kind of
Yeah,
whatever.
I mean, getting face tattoo, that's a serious,
Yeah.
that's a serious
I mean-
commitment.
Yeah,
that's,
exactly.
Is
that's
it-
That's a statement.
Is
Yeah.
it like a symbolic thing? Like, you want to like not look like who you
well, that's the
were,
thing. You're trying to
or-
hide yourself
Yeah,
or
I don't
something, or
know.
who knows? Yeah, who knows?
But his mental health diagnoses, I mean, I don't know how official these were, if he said it out of his own mouth, but this is what the internet's saying. And I mean, it's not really that shocking. Schizophrenia, bipolar disorder, and anxiety. So there was a couple of years where you didn't really hear much about him. I think these were kind of the years when he was trying to rebuild his finances. He was trying to do things like, the celebrity boxing match. I
Yeah,
guess
yeah,
I didn't
yeah.
realize he launched an OnlyFans, but he was trying to do like what, and I hate to say this because it's not his fault, but like, what the B-list or D-list celebrities do. They try and
No, you're trying to
grasp
use,
at
you're
straws,
still a
right?
name, right?
Use that name for
Aaron,
what it's worth.
That's all it is.
Yeah.
You're trying to use, again, talking about like live, right? Start social media
But
and
I-
stuff and try and.
I think at one point, I could be wrong and I could be mixing it up, but didn't he try to revitalize his music career?
Yeah,
Yeah, he was on Dancing
trying
with the
to.
Stars.
Yes,
he
he
was on Dancing,
was.
yeah, but no, he was.
Yeah.
And he was back in the store. They were showing him back in the studio. Yeah, he was trying to. He's still
Okay.
singing and stuff like that. And he
Yeah.
was trying to,
Yeah.
keep his music career going or restart it or whatever. Yeah.
But then, so what sort of happened is in 2018, he started, and I actually saw some of these like live.
I remember hearing about this stuff.
But he started doing Instagram live streams and, they started whatever, but he started being very erratic on them. And I think based on, again, what Angel was sort of talking about in the documentary and like it just common sense, but he started getting trolled a lot. Because during this time too, like he was publicly, taking pills. Like it wasn't a secret.
Yeah, yeah.
I think he went on like Dr. Oz or something to be like, I take 100 pills a day or something crazy
Yeah,
like that.
yeah.
So it wasn't like a secret that he was struggling with addiction. And he started doing lives and they just got increasingly erratic and problematic to the point where people in his stream would call the cops to check on him.
Yeah,
Yeah.
they had a lot of footage of that. Because that's the thing. This document has a ton of like footage.
Because he
of-
was recording it.
He was
all.
recording it.
Yeah.
Yeah, so there's lots of.
But like it got scary, like progressively scary. And so one of the biggest things that Angel said is one of the things that affected him the most, and it just shows that nobody's invincible, but one of the things that
Yeah.
affected him the most was the bullying online.
No, that's the problem.
Oh, yeah.
They said like he would read the comments
And he would take it.
and he would. It's someone thinking it's a laugh on their side of the keyboard,
Yeah.
but he's sitting there taking it as like a personal.
But think of
And
the
he would clap back and like challenge them to like come fight him and
All
stuff.
but
sorts
think
of-
of,
yeah.
but think about the like PTSD trauma that brings up, right?
Well, no,
it's not
exactly.
just somebody calling you like, "Hey, you look like a crackhead," and it's like, "Oh," but it's like the years of
well,
abuse
it's just
that happened.
a lot of it's confirming the way he felt inside or thought about
He's
himself.
like, yeah,
and
you're
whatever,
right,
yeah.
I am. And, like, so it was just really, really sad because, like Angel said, like, it really affected him and his mental health
Yeah.
started getting worse. There
Well, they
was this,
showed like some of the live streams of him reacting to these people, and just he would just you could see him just getting more and more upset, and then the more he's reacting to it, the more they're throwing at him.
Yeah.
It's just a
he was huffing cans or whatever, it's snuffing, huffing or whatever.
aerosol cans,
Aerosol.
whatever. Yeah,
But then there was one stream or a couple streams where, he started talking about guns
the
and
firearms and stuff. Yeah,
firearms and showing what he had, talking about how many he had, talking about what he would do with them.
Yeah.
So, I mean, there were people watching that were obviously probably fans of his that were generally concerned. They weren't all trolls.
No, that's the thing, but it's
And they would call the cops and like there's footage of cops coming and it's just like, oh yeah, no, I'm fine. Like they came all
we've
the time.
been here before, and this,
Yeah.
yeah. No, I know
It's
the
just
cops knew.
really sad because like, everybody has feelings.
Well, it's just sad.
Yeah.
I mean, the whole story was just
Yeah.
the whole Carter family. Like, it's just such a sad, tragic tale. Hopefully, it's a warning for people getting into showbiz and stuff like that to see. Like, but
I mean,
it was
Aaron's
messed
story
up.
is tragic. Like
Yeah.
The
Aaron's
whole
story,
family
it is. But I mean,
the
like,
sisters and stuff. Like, my God.
yeah. I mean, so then in 2019 was sort of like, I feel like the like height of the erratic behavior and, you know, crazy stuff happening. And, you know, he, again, so over the years, remember, he was told as a kid that Nick hates him, Nick's jealous of him, yada, yada, yada.
Right. So
Yeah.
there's a rivalry built up in his head.
Right.
Yeah.
That as a kid, and then they've like been friends and not friends again. And then in, you know, so obviously I know at this time Nick was making some public statements about like, you know, we're all worried for him and like we hope he's okay. And, you know, Aaron just took that as a,
Well, Nick tried to help them too, because I don't think we're going to cover it here, but they actually had a Carter reality show.
oh, I was going to talk about that.
Yeah, that's where he was trying to get, you know, some money for all of his siblings.
Yeah,
and
so they did like they all lived with Nick.
Yeah.
He
And-
wanted to have everybody get some money and hopefully repair their
their damaged relationship.
Yeah.
damaged
Yeah.
relationship. I mean, I watched the show. It was House of Carters. It was
That
a
was
shit
it.
show of a show.
Well,
But
it was exactly what you expected. It's 5 broken people. Siblings have a unique relationship
Yeah.
regardless of
Yeah.
whatever. But then you throw on a whole bunch of fame, addiction issues, and all this stuff, and it was the train wreck that you expected.
And
Yeah.
what was the very last episode they said he asked if they would go to therapy with him, and
Nick-
only one person said.
Nick offered to pay therapy for all of them.
Yeah.
And only Angel said yes.
The one sibling that's still alive.
She
And
said
she
yes.
says,
And she
she's
says-
like, that therapy saved my life.
Yeah.
Yeah.
She's like, I think the only reason I'm here and they're not is because I
took the
Took the
therapy.
therapy.
knew that I needed
Oh,
it.
I have like goosebumps.
Yeah, no, me too. Like, it's just
That's
such a
crazy.
sad.
Yeah.
Because you feel bad for Nick because he was
Yeah.
obviously
The oldest.
the oldest, super famous, rich,
Had
has
all the
money
resources.
and resources to do whatever he could, and you could tell because there's the last scene of him and his sister talking
Yeah.
on the beach, and he's like bawling.
Yeah,
Yeah.
of
Like,
course.
it's
He
like-
feels responsible, probably.
because
He
you know,
Exactly.
and it's I can only imagine how you'd feel being the older brother. It's like,
couldn't
Yeah.
protect them.
yeah,
Yeah.
like, my parents couldn't do it, so I'm going to try to, but he's a kid too,
Oh, yeah.
you know, so you could it's just a really, really sad.
But it just shows,
Really
I mean,
fucked up
he
story,
has
like-
all the money in the world to give any one of them the help that they need to get to a better
Yeah.
place.
And it just says if you're not willing to help yourself,
It
or
doesn't
you
matter.
can't
Doesn't
help
matter.
yourself, whatever, like
Yeah.
you can't save them.
And the
No.
fact that I mean, in case we forget to mention it too, like Angel talks about in this, like, you know, she's married and has her own child now and seems to live a very normal, I mean, nobody's perfect, but
Yeah.
like she's, like she said, the therapy's helped her. She's in a normal,
Yeah,
happy relationship with her kid. Her and Nick are close. Like, it's just
Yeah,
sad.
and she's not in showbiz or anything like that.
No.
I don't think, right? So she's
No.
just living a regular life. Yeah, but
But-
no, but she said, yeah, 100%. She's like my brother paying for that therapy and me taking it.
Yeah,
It's
and
why
he
I
was-
didn't go the same path as my siblings.
He
So
was
crazy.
She was the only one that took it. That's
Yeah,
crazy.
no, I know. And she says like, "Oh Jesus!" Like it's it's a really good documentary, but man, oh man, it's kind of hard to watch sometimes. Like just
Very
it's just
melancholy, yeah.
very sad.
So, at this point, like the height of, sorry, we're going to skip ahead again to talk about his mental illness because obviously this is sort of the trajectory to his early death. But, you know, sprinkled in there, like it says, Aaron accuses family members of abuse. Like he's not in his right mind at this point in time. He's just spewing a whole bunch of stuff on the internet and, you know, not making sense.
No.
So he starts getting mad at Nick again for whatever reason, because Nick's trying to, you know, whatever. And in 2019, Nick has to file a restraining order, which is such a sad story. Like, I remember when it happened, I'll explain sort of what it was, but I remember when it happened and the news coverage of it, and everybody's like, oh my God, Nick, like, he used to file a restraining order. He's not helping his brother, he has to file a restraining order,
Yeah.
blah, blah. And like, then you hear Nick talk about it. Or I don't even know if he did talk about it, but I've seen him talk about it on other things. But like,
Yeah.
and he's like, do you think I wanted to do that?
No, he
No.
was trying to help his brother, but also because his brother was making some
His brother was manic with a bunch of guns.
Yeah,
making-
yeah, a lot
making-
of big guns and
making
So-
threats against his wife
here,
and stuff.
so-
it's
Yeah.
like,
And
He's
this
like,
is-
he's like, I have to protect my family.
This is
Yeah.
the brief. In September 2019, Nick Carter filed a restraining order against his younger brother, Aaron, citing concerns for the safety of his family. Nick alleged that Aaron had threatened to kill his pregnant wife and unborn child, prompting him to seek legal protection. He was required to stay 100 feet away from Nick, his wife, their children, and other family members, specifically their residence in Las Vegas. But what it doesn't talk about, which Angel talked about, is Aaron picked up with a whole bunch of guns, went into his car and left and drove to Vegas and sat in a park across from Nick's house for hours.
Nick
And
lived like a gated community.
they had to track him through his, I think it was his assistant or something.
Well, because he was supposed to be going to Kentucky for a concert or some of that. And they're like, he's not, they were following him, like, I think it was like his GPS on his phone. They were tracking him. They're like,
he's not going to Kentucky.
Because I remember they said, would you go to this way to get to Kentucky? And everyone's like, no way, you would not ever go towards Vegas. They're in California, so it's like, he's going across it. And they want, he was there and he parked out front of their gated community for a couple hours and they had the cops and stuff ready to try and show up. And then Aaron just
That's why he
drove to Kentucky.
Yeah.
So who knows what he was thinking or doing? No one knows really, but you know.
So Nick expressed deep concern for Aaron's well-being, stating that the decision was made out of love and a desire for him to receive the proper treatment he needed before any harm can come of himself or others. Aaron denied the allegations, accusing Nick of using the court system to retaliate against him. Despite the restraining order, Aaron's behavior reportedly became more erratic, leading to a further strain within the family. The situation highlighted the complex and often painful dynamics within the Carter family, marked by a history of mental health struggles, substance abuse, and public dispute. And yeah, I mean, they showed clips of it, but I remember seeing it, but that just made him more angry, and he was just like spewing hatred for his brother and his brother's wife.
Yeah, no, it was
on the internet. You know, it's just so sad because it's like, it's just like so unnecessary that this human life had to be gone at 34 or 36 or however old he was.
Yeah, no, all of it with the ways, all the family, the sisters and stuff like that. All of them,
I mean, it's insane. Like, it's just, and you don't like to blame other people, but like, I mean, these parents, man.
No, these parents really,
So Aaron ends up, so this is like a couple of years where he's kind of like, I think a few times he like wanted to get help. He didn't get help. His addiction would get worse. We should also mention, I don't have the exact dates, but during this time he had a child of his own.
That's right. He was a father. Yeah.
He had a child.
That was, I think, it later on because I think it was still quite little when he passed away.
He had a fiance. He had a child himself, which actually, when they had the baby, they ended up losing custody of him because he was on live with drugs, talking about things, doing drugs, talking about guns, talking about everything. He actually lost custody of the baby.
Yeah. No, I know. Which, I mean, it makes sense, but it's yeah.
It's just. So, Aaron died at his home in Lancaster, California. What was the date of his death again? I can't remember. 2022, I think, right? It's
on the first page.
Yeah.
He died November 5th, 2022.
Yeah. His final months were filled with online concern, yet no one could intervene effectively. And then Nick made an emotional post. Addiction and mental illness is the real villain here. He was found unresponsive in his bathtub at his home in California. The Los Angeles County Medical Examiner coroner ruled his death an accidental drowning. He didn't even die of a drug overdose. The report indicated that Carter had inhaled a word that difluoroethane, a gas commonly used in air spray cleaners, and taken alprazolam and generic form of Xanax prior to his death. These substances incapacitated him, leading to the drowning. The coroner's report also noted Carter's history of substance abuse and multiple interactions with local police related to this issue. I mean, like, it's like the whole Whitney Houston. It's just even more freaking tragic because they didn't even die from doing the drugs. They died because they passed out and drowned in a bathtub.
I know.
I know. It's just such a waste.
Yeah.
But like, at the same time, like, I'm not, when I say like it's such a waste and it's such a shame, and I think you guys too, it's not like I'm blaming Aaron Carter, like being like, you deserve to die because you were like irresponsible.
No, not at all.
No, I
wouldn't take it that way.
No, I don't think you are, but I'm just sort of speaking it out, like speaking it through. But like, it's like addiction's real and it takes over. Addiction and mental health, like sometimes it's a battle you just can't beat.
Yeah.
No, exactly. And it's because it's not even so much that but then you do this stuff and you do it in the bathtub and you fall, you pass out, you knock yourself out and drown.
This is going to sound really weird to say, and I don't want it to come across as like cold and whatever, but hopefully you guys will understand what I'm trying to say. But it's almost like, who knows what Aaron Carter could have been? He could have gotten the help he needed. He could have, turned, like, who knows?
No,
but at the same time, it's like these people like Whitney Houston or Amy Winehouse or Aaron Carter who and I mean, I hate to say it, but I think Britney Spears is on the same path. But like, you just see it, and when you hear about their death, it's not shocking, and it's like,
well, no, that's
No.
the sad thing is that
but it's also like, maybe this was the best thing for them because they were so tortured.
Yeah.
But you don't want to think
No,
that way
no,
because they
you
very
don't.
well could
You
have.
like to think that maybe you could have like, got his addiction under control.
Yeah.
Yeah.
At the very least, been like a good dad to his kid.
Yeah.
At the very least.
Yeah.
And
Even
we
if his
don't-
career never, got back to where it
No.
was.
no, exactly.
And
but
we
just
don't
to be-
obviously know that, but like just thinking about it. But I mean, like at least in the
Well, I mean,
torture that he was in when he died, at least he doesn't have to live like
well,
that
no, but
anymore.
even I think the family says that, and a lot of times they do. They at least you hear that all the time. They kind of always say that these people finally found the peace that they could never find in life, and not
Yeah.
no one ever wants that. Yeah, you hope that they clean themselves up and go on to be an upstanding citizen, and whatever it is, whether they go back to on top as a singer or just be a good parent and get a job at Home Depot or whatever,
Yeah.
but just live a good life. But sadly, it's just it's easy to sit here and whatever,
Of course.
and for anyone to say, "Oh, just get off the drugs, get off of this," but it's
No,
it's not
that's
that
not.
it's not that
No,
easy at
unless
all.
then you're in their shoes. In their shoes, you have no idea what they're
No,
going through.
exactly.
Yeah.
It's
No, I mean, I can only imagine. Like, well, do you think about it this way? Do you think anybody of quote unquote sound mind would choose to live such a chaotic,
no, exactly.
depressing, anxious, torturous life?
No,
Would people choose that?
No, exactly, because they're not doing it because it's fun or anything. Like, maybe it starts out that way. I don't know. Like,
Yeah.
maybe you start out that way because it is fun to get high and dance and whatever. But eventually, that fun is gone, and you're doing this so you don't feel or have
Yeah.
to think about
Yeah.
the life
You're
you've
trying
created for
to
yourself.
escape that pain.
You're trying to escape all that stuff.
Yeah.
So I just try and think of it that way, and like nobody would choose to feel like that. So no, they can't just choose to not do it.
No,
they have
I mean,
to work
unfortunately,
hard.
yeah, no. I mean, anyone who's ever dealt with any sort of depression or any of that, it's not just a switch. You can just,
No.
oh yeah, you're right. I'm sorry. I'm just being stupid. Okay, I'm done. Like,
It's not like a switch like that.
no, exactly. And it's there. And a lot of times, the people, they don't want to get help either because they're afraid to get help, probably, and stuff too, right? It's until they
Yeah.
want to get help. Unfortunately, you really can't do anything for them. They got to want to
No.
do it for themselves.
No.
And,
Okay, but I have some final like thoughts and questions, but we got to reset the camera, so hold on. All right, so just a couple of takeaways or hot questions. I don't know. It's weird. I think some of these are pretty like, were Aaron and Nick ever really set up to succeed? I think Nick has to be taken out of the equation because he
Yeah.
was an adult. The height of his success, he was an adult. I mean, he started Backstreet Boys at 14. It took a couple of years to go anywhere.
Yeah.
Say he was like 16 when they had their first. Like he was an adult. He
He had the advantage of controlling more of his
Yeah.
destiny.
yeah.
I mean, yeah, it's hard to say. I mean, I don't think either one of them said it was to succeed.
No.
Because
No.
we watched that other documentary with these guys.
Yeah.
And
Oh, well, then he had his own
Lou-
issues.
they had a
Yeah.
whole
Perlman.
bunch
Oh,
of issues, not Lou Perlman, but all the stuff going on in their house and like,
Oh,
Yeah.
yeah.
Oh, yeah, I mean-
allegations of assaults and stuff like that. So I think neither one of us said no.
No, I
They were
mean,
all
they're
these poor
cash
kids.
cows.
All these kids were euchred from the get because they had shit parents.
Yeah.
Even if they didn't have $1 million kids,
Well,
they'd
but
probably still be not great.
think about it this way, and obviously it's a very general statement. I always feel like I have to say that, but think about it this way. Most parents who are not out to have their children fund their lifestyle would never want their 8-year-old to be going on tour and not going to school and working 24/7
Yeah.
and being burnt out. No.
No.
Most parents would be like, yeah, no, you can go after school to an audition for a play. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
but like they were opportunists. They saw the opportunity and they're like, "Ooh, wow, we
Yeah.
can."
Well, I think the parents are both broken people to begin with.
Well,
and
of course
just,
they are.
I think regardless of whether the kids were rich and famous, I don't think those kids were going to be coming out.
No.
And sadly,
Well,
I think
look at the 3 unspoken. I mean, so out of 5 of them, 2 of them, less than 50% of the siblings have been okay. And
Yeah.
but Nick's had his own addiction issues.
that's what I'm saying. Even Nick, like, yeah,
He managed to come out the other side, but like
yeah, no, but he had a whole bunch of issues. Yeah, exactly. So I don't think they were ever
You
set up
know?
to succeed.
it's just like Angel. I mean, her life wasn't easy either, but it doesn't sound like she went down the drug path or anything like that. She just, sort of struggled, I think, like mentally. But like
yeah,
those other 2 older sisters never had a shot. They were forgotten about. They were nobodies. They were able to, they had access to get any kind of drugs they wanted. They partied. They just had no support. They were
yeah,
left
no,
alone.
exactly. Yeah, that's what I said. So I don't think they were ever set up to succeed.
No. I mean, I think this is a pretty. What role do you think that the mom played? Do you think she's unfairly blamed?
Oh, I don't think she's unfairly blamed. I think whatever blame came her way was totally justified.
Yeah, I
Yeah,
100%
I think her
agree.
and the dad, both
yeah.
of them, I think.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, I think it's just because the dad kind of like scattered off after they got divorced and wasn't really. He was there, but it was the mom that was like, "Aaron's my pride, pride and joy." And
No,
I,
exactly. But the dad knew what was going on too,
Oh, of
right?
course the
So for
dad
him just
did.
to F off like that or
100%.
whatever, like, so.
No, I mean,
you know.
he's responsible as well. I mean, I guess it's not fair to say one's more responsible than the other. They're responsible in different ways, but I'm sorry, they were just shitty. And maybe it's because, like you said, they had their own demons that they couldn't get past.
No,
I don't know.
well, no, and I think that's it. They were just
They're all
broken
broken.
people,
Yeah.
that had their own issues, and I don't know if I'm guessing clearly never dealt with them themselves, and then they got a whole bunch of money, and this is what happened.
This is a random question. I don't know, but can documentaries like this help reduce stigma around mental illness and addiction? I think so. I think it sheds a light on it. People don't understand it.
No,
Yeah.
I think it's good to, I think, to share this stuff and see it, to share how bad, because again, it shows that these guys who were rich, that more money than we'll ever see in our lifetimes by far, but they sure were, they were having a whole lot of fun.
No, it's a cautionary tale, right?
Yeah.
About like kids in the music industry.
Well, and that's the thing, yeah.
And families that aren't capable of managing emotionally or financially someone's career.
Yeah, exactly. No, I think exactly. And hopefully it's a cautionary tale for parents too, thinking of their kids who want to get into singing or acting or whatever. Like, it's not all fun and game. Like,
No.
Well, I mean, again, like the track record's not great. Like and it kind of goes back to what I said. Like, most parents would not allow their young child to be a workhorse like that at that age. But look at what happens. I mean, there's plenty of examples. There's Britney Spears. There's Justin Bieber who's going through it now. Like they're saying that he's obviously having some kind of mental breakdown with his online
you
rants
keep
and
seeing all
stuff.
sorts of different posts about it. I'm not sure what's going on there, but yeah.
And, Justin Bieber was younger than Britney Spears. He was like Aaron Carter. He was a kid.
No,
No,
he was like 10 years old. When he
Yeah.
first-
He was little, yeah.
And I'm not shitting on the fact that he came from a single poor mom. I'm not shitting on that fact. However, when you look at the formula, I'm struggling to pay my bills. I'm a single mom. The dad doesn't help, and this can be easy. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And maybe the intentions start out not bad,
I think most of the times they don't go in.
but then it's like,
But all the money and
Yeah.
like it's we're talking lots of money that I think people get swayed and whatever. Yeah.
So it's hard, and but it's like all these stories. Like it's just the kid becomes funds the family.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, like look at Jessica Simpson. I mean, she wasn't as young, but she was like a young teenager.
Yeah.
But I mean, she came from their family struggled, but it was like a little different, and so it's just I know she wasn't on the same level as Britney Spears, but like it's just these different examples of like, I don't know. It's just weird.
Well, it's just hard to say. I think you just need good people in here because there's lots of singers that come out and are fine. Like, I mean, I don't know specifically, but like look at like Christina Aguilera or like Justin Timberlake. They all seem like they're doing okay. The rest of the guys in NSYNC or Backstreet Boys.
The Osmonds seemed like they looked okay.
Yeah, like I mean, so you have to have good people around you, and if you don't, this is how it ends up.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The people that are supposed to protect you and take care of you, take advantage of you, it doesn't go well.
The one thing that you mentioned kind of earlier that I think is important to talk about or just like mention was what do you like? I know what you said, but like Eric, what do you think so far? Like as far as like watching this documentary and the sort of little bits that Nick was in it or talking about it or Angel talked about him, like I don't know how much you like thought about it, the situation before, probably not much, but like, I'm just saying, like, do you think he got like a bad rap? Do you think he was a bad brother? Do you think he tried his best? Do you think I don't know. What are your thoughts on his?
Do I think that Nick was a bad brother?
Well, I'm just saying, what do you think his thoughts on his role in all of this, good or bad?
I don't know. I don't know if it's good or bad. I think Nick did the best he could.
Mm-hmm.
I think based on the situation and based on, because he was, he had his own demons to fight, like we said, right?
Mm-hmm.
And on top of that, he has to worry about his own family. And I think he did the best he could. Like he did offer them all therapy at one point in time, right? Mm-hmm. So he did reach out. So I think he did the best he could.
And he was also against a hurdle that he didn't even know existed until later that his mom was telling all these
Yeah.
stories.
Yeah,
about
exactly.
him.
She was causing a rift between the two of them.
Yeah.
And like you said, he was a kid.
Yeah.
Yeah, well,
he might
that's
have
the
been
thing.
rich and famous, but he's still just a kid.
He was like
Yeah.
18.
Yeah.
Like, what? Like,
Yeah, so he's
Yeah, exactly.
just do what you can.
and let's be real, like when he probably used this in the early years when he was like a teenager and early as a freaking escape to get out of what didn't sound like a very jolly household.
No, not at all.
Well,
Well,
lot
he
of
said that.
times.
Remember, he said his dad never really gave a shit about anything he ever did until he finally won first prize in a contest and won like $150.
And
Yeah.
he gave the
and he gave his
check.
dad the check.
And his dad was like, "Huh? Oh my God, you're
Yeah.
the greatest kid in the world."
Yeah.
He's like, "That was the first time my dad, out of everything I've ever did, singing,
Yeah.
didn't ever give it, didn't
He-
care at all."
He
Yeah.
gave his dad the check because he knew that they were having money troubles.
Mm-hmm.
And this is like, so think back to your childhood. Like, you know, we all grew up in the 80s and our parents struggled with jobs and money at certain times in our life. It's just what it was. But even though like we may have known that our parents had trouble buying groceries or couldn't buy all the groceries they wanted, if we had ever offered to give our parents like something we had won or earned ourselves, I can guarantee you every single one of our parents would be like,
Said,
"Oh my God,
yeah,
are you kidding?
no,
No,
yeah,
like
no,
we love you
exactly.
for it, but no thank you."
Yeah.
Yeah.
What's the first thing that dad did? And he was only proud of him because he won the money and gave
No,
it
he's
to
like,
him.
"Hey, wait, we can make money off of this thing.
Yeah.
Get out there and sing." Yeah.
Like,
Great.
You know, so it was just, they were just
Yeah,
screwed
right,
from
so
the
right off
start.
the, and even Nick though obviously clearly realized, at least looking back now, realized, okay, like
Yeah.
That's how I get the praise I need.
yeah, and this is all they care about.
So sad.
Yeah, no, it's
Yeah,
just
awful.
a really it was a really well done documentary, like
It was
but it was just
really-
it's a really sad
Yes.
sad story.
I liked that it came from the sister's perspective, somebody who lived it. It wasn't just random people telling stories
Yeah.
about things. It was her who lived it.
But who also lived it from not being one of the famous
Yeah.
successful ones. You
Yeah,
know, like,
exactly.
she was at home or in the tour buses or whatever, but like
yeah.
Yeah.
sort of like a separate outside of it almost.
And
Some of
then-
the fame and
but
stuff, like
also-
seeing it all, but not being in the middle of
But
it.
Yeah.
also being like not just his brother, but his twin brother. Right? So there's like an extra connection there. Like Aaron's twin brother.
twin
So there's-
sister or whatever.
Yeah.
Yeah.
whatever, twin
Yeah.
sister.
Yeah.
The documentary is definitely presented as like a cautionary tale, not really like as a tabloid like trash
No,
piece.
no.
No,
Yeah.
I wasn't too sure what to expect going into it because I had
Yeah.
no idea who was in it or not in it and
Because
stuff. But
even though like
It was like a warning, and then like the power of therapy to heal, right?
Yeah.
Because
she survived.
Yeah.
even though like she didn't speak very kindly of her parents, but it wasn't a smear campaign against. It was very
No.
factual. It was like this is just what it was.
well,
Exactly.
I think she.
It wasn't sensationalized.
No, I
No.
think again, I don't know exactly what she might have said, but I'm pretty sure she kind of said the same thing. Just now, having the time and therapy to get realizing her parents were just not emotionally equipped, and they had
No.
addiction, and they were just doing what they did.
Yeah.
It just I think she's realized now that
Yeah.
well, it was
they
what it
just-
was.
Yeah.
They did. Oh, I guess that they did the best they could with what they knew.
They thought
Yeah.
thought they were doing the best and whatever. Yeah, and
Yeah.
she wasn't. Yeah, so she wasn't like a. This is all their fault. And like it wasn't that. It was like, hey, they
No,
were
and
they great? No, but
Yeah.
So
'cause I
what?
think she kind of reconciled with her dad more towards the end before he
Yeah,
passed away.
I think
right?
they all kind of did. No, but then there was. I'm sorry, but there was a story about that. Remember, was Nick talking about it? He was told not to go to the funeral.
Yeah.
Remember that?
It
What
it
hap-
wasn't Aaron's funeral.
No, it was
No,
one.
the dad's or the sister. It was the sister.
It was the sister
funeral.
because the dad asked Aaron for money.
Yes, that's what it was.
Because he talked to his dad. Is the record song going to go to the funeral? And he talked to his dad for the first time in a long time.
Yeah.
And what did his dad do?
Asked
him for money.
Well, is asking Nick for a new roof on the house
Yeah.
and all
Yes.
that, and they were
Yeah.
like, this. They told him like, don't.
Don't come to the funeral because
that-
you're not gonna have a good reconciliation with dad. It's gonna be this.
Yeah, and because that was one of the scenes of when Nick and his sister were talking was him
Yeah.
crying about that, being like, I couldn't
Yeah.
even go to her funeral. Like,
Yeah.
how the hell does that?
Yeah,
How screwed
Like,
up is that?
Yeah.
Yeah.
and that just reminded me of that
Yeah,
part
I
of the
forgot about that.
thing.
Yeah, so
It was the sister, and he couldn't even go to his because again in the tabloids, I remember he got chewed apart for like, oh, he can't even go to his sister's funeral.
yeah.
But
It
he's
was
like, no, this is why I didn't go to the funeral.
Yeah.
So again, it just shows like, you never ever know what's going on behind closed
Well,
doors.
family
No.
dynamics are super complicated. You throw money, fame, and all this stuff into it, and it's
Yeah.
addiction issues. Like families are complicated, and it's
And
Yeah,
I-
exactly.
And I think that, like, I hope that, the two of them, Nick and Angel, are just sort of more, I mean, at least what they portrayed and what the feeling they gave near the end of the documentary is that they're kind of just at peace with everything. It sucks.
Yeah.
But, but I mean, and then it's like this, it's so many emotions. And I mean, I'm not even like directly involved in this, obviously, but like so many emotions for them because them as siblings are probably like thankful that they don't have to watch their siblings suffer. But also selfishly, then they're like, we don't have to go through the grief of watching them suffer.
Well, no, exactly. Yeah.
Like,
yeah.
it's just so messy and like, just, oof. But I definitely, well, here we go. What do you say? Stream it? That's the word.
Stream it or skip
Stream it or
What
skip
do you
it.
think, Steve?
Absolutely, I would say stream it. Yeah, it was well done. It's not very long. It was only two parts of each, like 45 minutes.
Yeah.
So it's not a long watch. But yeah, I would, if you're interested in that kind of thing, it's definitely not a cheery, upbeat documentary. But I definitely give it a watch.
What about you, Eric?
I'd say stream it definitely, even if you're not like a fan of Aaron Carter or like the Carter family in general. I think it's worth a watch. It's a really good cautionary tale.
Mm-hmm.
And I think, like Eric said, even if you aren't a fan of them, I'm sure most people have heard of them in some context. Because I know you guys aren't definitely not Nick or Aaron fans per se. See,
No.
I think this was one of those where you guys are like, okay, I'll watch it. It's fine. But it was actually really good. So I definitely say stream it. I think it's just very emotional and just very sincere, the angle it's coming from. And I think that Punky Brewster, what's her name again?
Soleil Moon Frye.
Soleil Moon Frye.
Yeah.
She did a really good job. I mean, it wasn't fancy. It was just very factual. And she did a really good job.
Yeah, it was really, really good. All right, guys, that's it for today's podcast. Thank you so much for watching. We appreciate you spending some time with us. Drop a comment below. Let us know what you thought of this documentary. If you've seen it or not, let us know. If any of you guys out there are struggling or dealing with any issues at all that we've talked about, it's some heavy stuff today. We're going to put some links below as well. If you want to talk to them, reach out at all, please reach out, get some help. You're never alone. We'll see you guys in the next one. Take care, everybody.
Bye, guys.
Bye-bye.